Alright, so we got a turret build on Prismatic here. So we're taking advantage of Getaway Artist. So this makes it so that when we consume our Arc Grenade, we'll get an Arc Soul. And it'll also amplify us. The Arc Soul functions as an autonomous turret. So this is going to be an enhanced version of Arc Soul that'll do a bit more damage and fire more frequently. I should have the stats on screen about how much faster and how much more damage it's doing. But hopping into the build, we're running Nova Bomb, but this is just personal preference. You could actually run any super you'd like here, whatever you would want. But my personal favorite is Nova Bomb. Song of Flame, it also can be super helpful for endgame content because it gives you so much damage resistance while you're using it. As far as our abilities go, Healing Rift, just kind of standard for Warlock. You can run Empowering if you would like for a little bit more extra consistent damage, but Healing Rift just helps you stay alive. You can choose whatever jump you would like. I prefer Burst. Incinerator Snap, I'm using primarily to get some ignitions off. However, this is also personal preference. You could also run Penumbral Blast just to get another Shatter off. You could run Arcane Needle to have more charges of it. Whatever you would really like. I just prefer Incinerator Snap. I'm running Storm Grenade. The only ones I wouldn't recommend here would be Healing Grenade or Vortex Grenade, and that's due to their longer cooldowns versus the Storm Grenade. Then I have Feed the Void. This is so that when we defeat a target with an ability, we can activate Devour. Devour is going to make sure that we always get health back and grenade energy, which is going to feed into this loop of this build fantastically. Then we have Bleak Watcher, which is synergizing with our Arc Soul, where we're popping our Arc Soul, it'll also create a turret at the same time. For our fragments, we're running Facet of Awakening. This is so that when we're getting rapid defeats with whatever we're using, it'll create an elemental pickup. So if we're getting lots of stasis kills, we'll get plenty of shards. If we're getting lots of arc kills with our Arc Soul, we should get Ionic Traces. On the left here, you can see that its Ionic Traces will grant around 12.5% ability energy per ability. So it's actually all three get 12.5% ability energy back when you pick up an Ionic Trace. As far as the Stasis Shard, you'll get some melee energy, but we can also improve this effect with some of the artifact mods. Then we have Facet of Purpose, where picking up an Orb of Power will grant us, in our case, an Overshield because we're running Void. Again, this could come down to your super choice, where if you would rather Restoration on picking up an Orb, you could run a Solar Super. Facet of Ruin, this makes it when we do freeze stuff, that crystal and the frozen target will shatter a little bit harder, as well as our melee will get increased damage on our Solar Ignition. Facet of Courage, our Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with darkness debuffs. We're going to be freezing or slowing nearly everything, so this is going to make it so that our Arc Soul is doing way more damage to all of these targets. Then finally we have Facet of Dawn. This is to make it so that when we do use our melee, we can get some Radiant, and this is going to allow us to use anti-barrier stuff for all of our weapons, as well as just provide an extra little bit of damage. You could swap this out for something like Facet of Command, where when you freeze or suppress something, you get your weapon reloaded, just to make your weapon feel a little bit better. And it would also, when you defeat a frozen target, create a Stasis Shard. I don't really think it's going to be entirely necessary, but it's up to you if you would rather that, rather than trying to keep up the Facet of Dawn Radiant buff. Because there is not a way to continue it, as there is a way with when you're on Solar. So as for Wicked Implement, our first weapon of choice is going to be leading into literally all of its perks. So, Tithing Harvest, while Creeping Attrition is active, which is our intrinsic trait here, rapidly landing precision hits causes targets to become slowed. While Creeping Attrition is active, destroying stasis crystals or landing precision final blows creates a stasis shard. The stasis shard returns to you, and collecting stasis shards refills the magazine. Then, we have precision final blows spawn a stasis crystal at the victim's location. This is just headstone, and collecting stasis shards gradually overflows the magazine. So this is going to make it feel nice. But essentially you're going to be slowing and freezing and causing stasis shards to show up, as well as stasis crystals, all the time. It's going to synergize beautifully with this. Other weapon of choice is going to be Glacioclasm. I'm using a fusion rifle just for consistent damage on some higher health targets. So mine has overflow and controlled burst, but you could really run whatever special you would like here. The only thing that I would say is necessary to make the build feel good is Wicked Implement. So this is entirely up to you. And then for heavy, I would choose something that can actually kill bosses, just so we have that extra amount of damage going out. I have my chill inhibitor here with Cascade Point Chill Clip. I know there's a controversy around this gun right now, so if you have the God roll, you're 1 in 750, I believe, if the data is to be believed. Congratulations, but really, you could choose whatever power weapon you want here, anything that can kill bosses for you. Now, for the artifact, we're trying to get as much possible stasis damage out of our Wicked Implement, as well as helping enhance our Arc Soul do as much damage as well. So, we're taking nearly all the frost damage stuff that we can. So 1 with frost. Well, frost armor is active. Stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. Now, this is going to make it so that our Wicked Implement is getting increased reload speed and stability when we have frost armor, which is procced by this with Wind Chill. Rapid stasis weapon precision hits grant you a stack of frost armor. Since Wicked Implement is a scout rifle, it should be proccing this all the time. And rapid precision hits from weapons with the Dark Ether origin trait grant you more stacks of frost armor. So if you want to use a weapon from this season, you can with this build, as long as it's not Wicked Implement, of course, and you could help proc that other part of this mod. Then we have Armor of Aramis. While Frost Armor is active, taking critical damage from combatants causes you to emit a freezing burst. This is just a nice little quality of life thing, where something's too close to you, maybe you get meleeed by a cabal, and then it'll just emit that burst of freezing to make it so you can actually live and kind of get away. Hail the Storm. Shattering stasis crystals releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. This is going to be the most important one because it's going to make the headstone perk on our Wicked Implement just do massive amounts of damage to the enemies around it. Then we also have Concussive Reload as well as Rapid Impacts, which is going to make grenade launchers reload a little bit quicker. It's noticeable, but just kind of a quality of life thing. And then we also have Conductive Cosmic Crystal. So your Arc abilities, Void abilities, and weapons with Dark Ether Origin trait do bonus damage to targets that are affected by a stasis debuff. Nearly everything on the map is going to be affected by slow or some sort of stasis debuff this whole time. This is going to make it so that our Arc Soul does so much more damage to all of these targets, and so our Arc Soul will actually be able to clean up the map very easily. Then we also have Serve Cold, where picking up a Stasis Shard grants you class ability energy. This is important because it'll just feed into the rest of our ability loop, where a Stasis Shard normally already just provides grenade energy. Getting into the mods, we have Stasis Siphon. We have 2 of these to make it so that when we're getting multi-kills with Wicked Implement, it's creating orbs for us on every multi-kill. With more copies of this mod, you'll actually make sure that it's generating an orb more frequently. I believe the base cooldown is 10 seconds. This gets it down to, I believe it's around 5. I'll have the community insights up on the page now. But the orb should be slightly more potent this way, so we can get our super back a little bit quicker. On our arms, I have Double Grenade Kickstart. This is again going to make it so that we get our grenade back just a little bit quicker as we're collecting orbs and using our armor charge for this. It's not really that important because we'll always have our grenade back in time for the next one, so you should never have any downtime for your Arc Soul. But this is just making it so that you can do it multiple times and get more Stasis Turrets up rather than just maintaining your Arc Soul. I have Fastball on here. Fastball does make it so that when you pop your Arc Soul, the Stasis Turret that's popping out goes just a little bit further. So this is up to you. I only had 1 mod slot available left, so you could swap this out or just not use it at all, but it's just a personal preference thing. On my chest, I have 2 resistance mods. I have a Void one as well as a Solar Resistance mod. You can swap this out for whatever you're currently facing, for whatever these are applicable for. Charged Up increases the maximum number of charges that you can carry by 1. This just makes it so we can actually have 4 charges, so it's going to synergize better with Grenade Kickstart, so we get even more grenade energy when we do pop it. On our boots, we have stacks on stacks, so when we do pick up an overpower, it'll grant us 1 additional stack of armor charge, so 2 instead of 1. Then we also have Better Already. Your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. This is just to make Devour feel a little bit more consistent. It is our primary method of healing, but it is only on kill, so this just allows us that when we do pick up an orb, we get that consistent healing going, just in case we're going between kills, or maybe you're running to an orb and you just kind of need that extra little survivability. Just making Devour feel more consistent. We also have Innervation for reducing our grenade cooldown every time we pick up an overpower. This should be around 10% of our grenade energy back per time we pick up an overpower. So again, just making it so that it's more consistent so we can get more Stasis Turrets out, so we just never have any downtime on our Arc Soul. Then we have Triple Bomber on our class item. Same thing as before, more grenade energy, more consistency for those stasis turrets. Alright, let's get into the gameplay. So you can start out immediately by just holding LB, or whatever your grenade button is, and it'll just create an arc soul as well as a stasis turret, and it's just doing so much damage, even without me shooting anything. You can see that this is cleaning up the map for me. And my grenade energy is coming back so quickly because of Devour, as well as, everything just hitting all those targets. And Getaway Artist is also making it so that we get grenade energy back. So, if I place this, get that, and then now we can actually start cleaning up with Wicked Implement as well, and help it clean up a little bit more. But it's already doing so much damage, creating stasis shards everywhere, so you can slow targets. You're pretty tanky because of Devour as well as Frost Armor. So even during the reload, we're killing enemies. You can freeze him outright. We just don't really care about damage coming in because of how tanky we are with Frost Armor as well as Devour. And Wicked Implement just does a lot of damage as well because it is a scout rifle, so it feels good to just kind of plink away at heads, create a stasis shard that way, and it's a full stasis shard, so it's not a small one. And you really can just use your grenade off of cooldown. I'm being bad about it right now. One thing you do have to be careful of is sometimes your Arc Soul trying to get at an enemy will shoot your turret, your stasis turret, and that'll cause it to break. But it happens pretty rarely. So you just kind of plink away, get a stasis shard there. You're just freezing really everything on the map. So you're getting constant shards, constant frost armor. Everything's getting CC'd all the time. And before our Arc Soul even runs out, we can make another one. Just keep the loop going. Getting yet another one here, just for fun. And then you have something like this for the stronger targets. There you go.